Earlier on, we started a conversation with a frontline aspirant in the Edo APC governorship race. Osage Ize-Iyamu is with us now. Thank you so much, Mr. Osage Ize-Iyamu, popularly called pastor. You will tell me that you are actually a pastor, but then... Well, let's get back to the conversation. So I was asking you, you said you've obtained the form. But it looks like you despise the Professor Ize-Iyamu committee report. Why?
Well, Sheon, again, thanks for inviting me. I know that you become an expert on procedures for primaries and elections. And you know that you don't screen people who have not even indicated interest to run for office. It's not just by going on social media to say that I'm an aspirant. To be an aspirant, you have to pay for expression of interest form and a collect nomination form. That is what makes you an aspirant. The party APC is very well organized. We have a timetable, and there's a timetable for screening. Screening comes after you have paid your nomination form, you have collected your expression of interest form, which we have just done. After that, you submit, and then the party, the National Working Committee, will constitute a committee to screen the aspirants. So certainly we've not gotten there. So it's ridiculous to refer to Ize-Iyamu's committee, which was in-house, as a screening committee. I'm sure if you invite him, he would be very hesitant to give him that title, because the only people that could have named that committee a screening committee is the National Working Committee, and they've not done so. They have a timetable that will be done in February.
So, but with what is going on, and I put this question to you earlier, you were one of those who are in that meeting with the leader of your party in Edo State, Comrade Oshiomhole, and all of you subscribed to the Professor Ize-Iyamu's committee, and you agreed to the dictate of that committee's terms of reference, which you said you will abide by. But now the committee has finished its work, and some of you are speaking against that committee's work. Is that fair?
Sheon, I can tell you for a fact that I was at the so-called meeting, and at no time was that committee referred to as a screening committee. If I were to quote what our leader, Comrade Oshiomhole, said, he said, I would like to suggest that a committee be set up to interface with the aspirants with a view of making a recommendation. Number one, he used the word interface. He did not say screening. Number two, he talked about recommendation. He did not say decision. And in any event, that matter has been laid to rest, because when they were beginning to have doubts about who they even screen and they did not screen, the National, in their wisdom, told the National Police Secretary to issue a statement that one, as many as want to collect forms should please do so. Number two, they are the only ones who can constitute a screening committee, and that will only be done when forms have been submitted. Forms will be submitted on the 29th. Of January. We've not even gotten there. There are people who might still want to contest that we don't even know, and they have a right. Nobody can stop them. So that's why I said it would be ridiculous for anybody to say that what we had was a screening. It was not a screening committee. Those who say so may be saying so out of inexperience. But for people like us who have been in the game, it would have been ridiculous. And if you are going to screen people, it's not something you do arbitrarily. There are laid down procedures. In fact, court cases have long decided that if you are going to disqualify anybody at all, it must be based on the constitutional provision for disqualification. Nothing else. It's not an arbitrary exercise. And I can tell you that what we went through was just an interface with the committee set up to make a recommendation. A recommendation is not a decision. And that matter has been laid to rest. Even the Edo APC have long issued a statement that what happened in that place was just an in-house committee that was set up. It has nothing to do with screening.
But Mr. Ize-Iyamu, it was said at that meeting that the committee is coming together with the intent of pruning from 29 to a reasonable number that could go into the primaries. Didn't it say that?
No. Let me explain to you. It was said that it will not be nice and advisable for all of us to go and collect the forms. 29 of us will be like almost giving 1.5 billion to the national. And so he said any discussion that would help to reduce the number would be okay. And that if we don't mind, a committee can tell us to make a recommendation. Now, if you are saying that statement is what gave them the status of the screening committee, I will tell you no. Because the screening committee is a body that can only be set up by the National Working Committee. We've not gotten there at all. And when you talk about this committee, for example, on what basis are they screening people? What basis? I'm a party man, so I don't want to even go into a lot of the things that we did because it's been laid to rest. But the reality is that if we were to talk about that so-called committee, you will find out that whatever they did cannot even stand the test of time. But in any event, the party has long overruled on it. The national has spoken against it. The state has spoken against it. Then what are we talking about? If the state condemns it, the national condemns it, then it means that there's no issue. So I can tell you that I have the greatest respect for the party. And if the party in its wisdom sets up a committee, the party will enforce it. Who is enforcing this one, for example? And even when the party sets up a screening committee, I hope you also know too that they would also set up an appeal committee. If anybody is aggrieved with the result of the screening committee, they have a right to appeal. So all those procedures are there, clearly enshrined in our party constitution. We've not gotten there yet. When we get there, we'll cross it.
So that committee that was initiated by your leader, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, as it will be called in some local parlance, is now become a political aborted baby, is it?
Well, their job was to make a recommendation. A recommendation is a recommendation. You listen to it, you can accept it, and you can reject it. But if I'll be very honest with you, I would have thought really that what we were expecting was, number one, do we want to zone or not? Because that is a recommendation. Number two, what criteria do we want to use to reduce the number? But the issue of screening, like I said, it's not their job. With due respect to Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, he's not the national chairman of the party. He cannot on his own decide to set up a screening committee. He was national chairman. He will not take it from anybody who will attempt to usurp the functions of the National Working Committee. So I don't want to go into it because the party has sufficiently laid it to rest. It's like trying to flog a dead horse. He's dead, he's dead. What is important now is that we've come out. And even in your statement, I remember you saying that now the heavyweights have come out. Which serious party will disqualify their serious contenders? Are we going to go to the contest to lose? So I want to assure you that whatever happened there was an in-house thing, which we have not taken seriously, and we have moved on to the real business of paying for forms. It is those who pay for forms that become aspirants. The people you are talking about before.
Mr. Ize-Iyamu, if I may jump in quickly and ask you, it goes beyond saying that the influence and the role and Adams Oshiomhole will play as a leader of the party will invariably determine who becomes the bearer of the ticket of the APC in Edo State. For those who think that Ize-Iyamu is not on good terms with Adams Oshiomhole, do you think, in some sense, politically speaking, that your ambition might be impaired from the from the set go?
No. Number one, I'll tell you categorically that we are on good terms. There's no quarrel between myself and Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. We have worked closely throughout the party formation to begin to quarrel unnecessarily. But the fact that we disagree does not mean that there's a problem. He has a strong personality. I also have that. So we are bound to disagree. He doesn't expect me to sit down and everything he says I will say yes. So the fact that we disagree on some issues does not make us enemies. For example, the son is getting married this weekend. I'm going to travel from Benin to Lagos just to attend. In the same way, when my daughter was getting married, he was there. So we have a good relationship, but politically, we can decide to disagree on how to go about the process. And let me also say this. The issue of who becomes a candidate is not a decision for one man. Comrade Adams Oshiomhole is highly respected in our party. But even him will not tell you that I will decide who will be. He will not say that. He will not say that. And if he says that kind of thing...
But do you fear, though, that if you are not seen in Edo State today, especially within your party APC, as a favored candidate, and those who are also who have some bones to pick with you based on how the election of the last time you were on the ballot went, and they thought that you might not be the right candidate for the APC.
Sheung,
do you have some fears?
To the glory of God, we have seen a lot of things in politics. Our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, went through a highly contested presidential primaries. And in that primaries, you will recall, the then national chairman said the preferred candidate of the party is Ahmed Lawal. In spite of that, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu still won. So at the end of the day, the beauty about democracy is that the people will take a decision. If the people in their wisdom say, Pastor Ize-Iyamu, we don't want it to be a candidate, the party man will support whoever becomes the candidate. So it's not a question about desperation. The fact that I'm contesting does not preclude any other person from contesting. And nobody too can stop me if I'm qualified to contest. If comrade supports me, that will be a plus.
What if he doesn't support you?
That will be a challenge.
What if he doesn't support you?
If he doesn't support, it's not compulsory. It's not compulsory he supports me all the time. Of course, I know that the moment I become a candidate, he will support me.
But
that's the beauty.
There are those who feel in your party that you don't have the support of Adams Oshiomhole. Isn't that a problem?
The truth about it is that I'm reaching out to all our stakeholders. We have 192 wards. Comrade has not told me he's not supporting me. Of course, as one of our foremost leaders, I went to him to say, look, I'm going to contest. What do you think? He said, if you want to go, go for it. So the truth about it is that I have no personal disagreement with him. Whether he will support me, he will not support me, is his personal choice, and I will respect that. I cannot even be angry with him if he chooses to support somebody else. It doesn't matter.
But there are those who say that if he decides to, just for a moment,
in 192 words,
yeah, if there are those who will say
where
in 2020
decided.
Yeah, Mr. Ize-Iyamu, there are those who will say in 2020 you were somewhat being imposed, or well, so they say, in your party by Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. But if he doesn't support you this time around, you should not have any qualms in that sense, because in the same way.
You see, let me tell you, in 2020, yes, they tried to talk to some people to step down for me, but that was not correct. When you have a consensus candidate, it means that all the other aspirants who took forms, signs to support you, they withdraw and say they are supporting you. Then that makes you the sole candidate, a consensus candidate. In my case, in 2020, people contested with me. So I was not a consensus candidate. We did primaries. So I was not a consensus candidate. So the reality is that people can talk to, we are talking among ourselves. I'm talking to many of the aspirants to step down for me. And some have come to me to say, Pastor, please support me. It's normal. There's nothing wrong in it. Those are the hallmarks of contestation. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, we will do primaries. And the primaries will separate the men from the boys. In 192 wards. If I am defeated, I would accept. If I also win, I expect that they would accept. So basically, there's no problem. Our party has fixed the date, the 17th of February. That day we'll do primaries, direct primaries. We are ready for it. I have gone around the 18 local governments, which means I am not waiting for one particular person to endorse me. If I thought I needed one particular person to endorse me, I will stay in this house all through. I will not go around. I have gone around the 18 local government. My presence is felt all over the state and in the 192 wards.
All right.
And I tell you for free, and everybody will tell you that Pastor is the man to beat.
All right. Let me quickly take you up on this. Your brother, Godwin Obaseki, is from the same senatorial district. And there are those who think that after 8 years of Godwin Obaseki, would you have another man from the same senatorial district, from the same stock, become governor again or get a ticket of the APC? Would that be called fairness in the political game of the Edo State?
That's a nice question you've asked. But you see, people do not understand the demography of our state. Godwin Obaseki is from Oredo. That's where the state capital is. That's the same local government that Lucky Igbenedion was from. But that is not the whole of Edo South. Edo South has 7 local governments. Oredo is the capital and the urban side of Edo South. I am from the rural side of Edo South. I come from Oshiomhole. And listen to me. Oshiomhole has never had a governor. We have never had a minister. We have never had, what do you call it, a chairman of a party. We have never had a speaker. Whatever position we've never had. That's a local government that has no light, no water, no hospital, no higher institution. And yet, it has the largest land mass in the entire state. That is the local government that has the highest gas reserve in the entire country. And yet, no water, nothing. Totally backward. My people too, don't you think they have a right to agitate and say, our son, please contest? There is no senatorial district that has not had governor one time or the other. There's none. And for me, there is nothing wrong in anybody agitating. Everybody, they have a right to agitate. And the real essence why you are seeing this rampant agitation is because of the glaring underdevelopment in every area. And everybody now believes that the only way they can develop their place is when their son becomes governor. It's a legitimate thing. There's no doubt about it. The Owan people are aggrieved. Even the Isha area, they will tell you that the Okpewo people have had their fair share. But at Basilo, they've not had their share. But I'm telling you that in my own those South you are talking about, Oshiomhole, where I come from, they cannot boast that they have ever been considered for governor or minister or speaker or chairman of party or the basic amenities. So on what basis do you think I will keep quiet and my people are so marginalized and they are crying out?
All right.
I can tell you that if my party in their wisdom says we have decided to zone, I would abide by that. There's no way I can fight it. But before I came out, I listened carefully when people went to the party secretariat and repeatedly they mentioned the fact that they are not zoning the governorship. They are not zoning the governorship. And their reason was quite germane. You can't be in opposition and be talking about zoning. It's only when you are comfortable, you are in government, that you can say, okay, this area, they've not had governor before, let us give to them. But when you are in opposition and you are fighting to come into government, what is uppermost in your mind is, who is the best person that we can present to unseat who is there? That is what is there.
Let me quickly get to it. Just for a moment. You contested very intensely with Mr. Godwin Obaseki in a debate that Channels Television put together. And you contested ideas on how you think Edo State should be run. And in those conversations, you thought about how you think that poverty alleviation should be done, education should be done. Now, you've had a Godwin Obaseki for 8 years. Why do you want to become governor? Why are you seeking the APC ticket? What is the fundamentals of your ambition of wanting to be the governor of Edo State? Just one thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
That inspires you.
Thank you. Now, I've had the opportunity to serve our state in an appointive capacity. By the grace of God, in the past, I've been chief of staff. I've been secretary to government. I understand the workings of government. And one thing that is obvious to me is that government can do so much. Government can develop the 3 senatorial districts without discrimination, irrespective of where the governor comes from. What is important is a governor who is focused, a governor who is committed, a governor who is sincere, and a governor who knows what he's doing. In my debate with Godwin Obaseki, for example, I was alarmed at the fact that you want to be governor in the first term, and there's no roadmap. There's no clear-cut agenda of what you want to do. And I said, if you run on this basis, you would get there, nothing will happen. And that's what happened in the first 4 years. In the second 4 years again, I raised that alarm. I have always had a roadmap, my simple agenda. And every time I try to review it, even right now, I have reviewed it to face present realities. So clearly, I have a clear roadmap of what can be done to make our state better. And I can tell you this, if I am governor, the agitation of where you come from to rule the state will be less. Because when people see their areas well developed, when they see that people are appointed on the basis of merit, nobody will begin to say, oh, is the turn of this, is the turn of that, is the turn of that. It's ridiculous. But I don't blame them right now because there's nothing happening. They have been so marginalized, there's so much underdevelopment that everybody now believes that until their own person comes into government, there will be no redemption. That's why it's like that.
Yeah.
I have a blueprint. Yes.
All right. We need to wrap up quickly now, but there are those you perhaps, I mean, this is probably going to be your party internal issues. But of course, you know that I talk to a whole lot of politicians in my line of duty. So there are those that you need to convince about how the campaign funds were spent when you ran for governor the last time. There are those who are asking questions about how those monies were spent. Are you able to give account fully onto how those funds were spent?
You know, when people see you as the front runner, there's nothing they will not do to disparage or assassinate your character. I told you just now that I went through the 18 local governments. And it's very few of the aspirants have been able to do that. And everywhere I went, I had a rousing reception because they all admitted that the money that I was able to gather for the last election, no candidate of the party has ever been able to bring that money. They gave me that applause, every local government. And I have the tapes.
And how you spent it, not even acquiring the money, but how it was spent.
No, how it was spent. How it was spent. They were admitting that the money they got.
Do you have a record that you can publish to convince the naysayers?
Not only, no, it's not for public consumption, but it will interest you to know that at every local government area, I gave them a breakdown. And what I got was more than a standing ovation. Every local government. I know you have your ears to the ground. Even call your local people in Edo. They will tell you that everywhere pastor went, to dismiss this silly story, he reminded them what he brought to their local government. And not only did they agree, they applauded him for what he did.
But you felt, you said you felt betrayed.
Yes,
after the election.
The betrayer is not coming just from me. Even our leader, Commander Oshiomhole, has said it. So many people have said it because they saw it for themselves. You see, there are not many things you can say in the public, but I can tell you that there are people we looked up to support us in a lot of areas. And we found out that they did anti-party. They were working for Godwin Obaseki. They were APC members, leaders, and they were working for him for reasons best known to them.
All right. Yeah.
They wanted him. Yeah, they wanted him to return.
We need to anchor on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Osage Ize-Iyamu, who also obtained this form today, as well as other aspirants like Anamero Dekeri and the rest. But I wish you the very best, and we monitor all the processes along the way. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.